to these.
Okay, choppy time is like noisy time. Yeah, when kids aren't misbehaving, yeah, but there's noise. So, for
Ah, right,
example,
okay.
when they're giving out the mini whiteboards. Yeah, if you
Right, okay.
say, yeah, so, you want the mini whiteboards to be given out, you say, give out the mini whiteboards. That leads to choppy time.
Got it. I
Now,
like
what
it.
we saw before earlier is that choppy time can escalate. And I had a whole thing that I used to say. It was like Yoda style. You know how Yoda's like, hate leads to suffering, suffering leads to anger, anger leads to jealousy, and
That's
jealousy leads
very,
to the dark side.
it's
Yeah,
very
that
good.
kind of
That's
thing.
very good.
It basically like noise leads to hubbub, leads to disruption, leads to conflict, leads to
Yeah.
defiance.
Nice.
Yeah, and experienced teachers know that if you nip it early, it ends up always being better. And
Yeah.
that little bit of hubbub and that bubble, that noise that you think is okay, very, very quickly turns into stuff that isn't okay and is uncontrollable. So if you want to like reduce that choppy time, you need to be clearer with your instructions. Now, telling people to be clear with their instructions is not good advice. Yeah, because how do you, if I said to you, be more clear,
Yeah.
what, like enunciate? Yeah, like what? It's like when people tell kids like, yeah, you didn't read the question. They read the question. Yeah,
Yeah.
they read
Yeah.
the question. No, they need to read the question more carefully. Okay, how do you read more carefully?
Yeah.
What, like you just do it slowly? Like, can you read slowly? Reading slowly is hard. Yeah, it's actually work. So it's just a nonsense. Yeah. So telling people they need to be clearer is rubbish.
Yeah.
Right. So what they need to do is they need to front load their means of participation.
Okay.
So means of participation is how you want the students to do the thing. So let's say you're asking a question, you want hands up. You're saying hands up. And you're being explicit about that. If you want them to answer on a mini whiteboard, you're saying on your mini whiteboard.
Okay.
If you want them to do it in silence, they're going to do it in silence. If you're going to do it quietly talking to your partner, you're going to do it quietly talking to your partner. That kind of stuff. And front loading is putting that at the beginning of your instruction. Because if you say something like, no, if we did mini whiteboards, is easier. Yeah. If I say, okay, I want everyone to get the mini whiteboards, but I want you to do it quietly. By the time I get to but I want you to do it quietly, they've started getting the mini whiteboards and they're noisy. Yeah, and you've lost it because they're not listening to you anymore. They're focused on the mini whiteboards and then noise, hubbub, disruption, chaos, pandemonium, nuclear, thermonuclear war, right? All of
And I
those.
can imagine that the silence one's a big one as well, right? If you don't front
Exactly.
load it with the silence, they're already chatting to the person next to
So
them.
you say things like, okay, guys, we're going to do this next bit in complete silence.
That's good.
Nobody is going to talk. Quietly, grab your mini whiteboards.
Nice.
And then wait. And wait. One of the most important ingredients to an instruction is the wait afterwards. Because what I see a lot is people start their instruction, then they take a question from a kid over here, they take a question from a kid over there, and then they start talking to someone at the back, and then they start repeating their instruction or whatever. And before you know it, that hubbub is like off the charts. You've got some kids working, some kids chatting, then a teacher starts circulating, talking to this kid, that kid. Yeah, it's all about that wait. Right, it's about making sure that everyone's on the same page. So you're doing the mini whiteboards. We're going to do it without talking, completely quietly. Everyone's going to get their mini whiteboards. And then if a kid says, "Oh, sorry, I don't have my pen," and you start walking over and you give them a pen. Anyone else not got a pen? Go over there. Go over there. Before you know it, kids are talking.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so we modify the instruction again. We say, okay, we're gonna do this completely without talking. If you find you don't have a pen, and again, I'm not even saying them to get the mini whiteboards yet. I'm waiting for that till the end. Yeah. If you find you don't have a pen, you just raise your hands. I don't want to hear any noise. I don't want to hear you calling out or speaking to anybody about your pen. You just pop your hand in the air. What are we going to do if we don't have a pen, David? Very good. You're going to put. Wait, are you going to call out to me that you don't have a pen? No. Just perfect. Well done. It's just going to go up in the air, nice and quiet. Excellent. Okay, eyes back up here. That way. Good. Lovely. Right. Very, very quietly. And if we don't have a pen, our hand's going to go up. We're just going to grab our mini whiteboards. Go now. And then I wait. Kids put their hand up. I'm still waiting. I go like this. Give them a thumbs up. I go, or I sign wait. Yeah, Makaton sign for wait. That's that one.
Like it.
Yeah. The second you start to introduce that noise, it all flips up.
Yeah.
And there's hubbub, noise, chaos, etc. So yeah, it's about that wait. And then once everyone's got their mini whiteboards and those kids have got their pen up, you just quietly call one kid towards you, give them a box, and you just say, go take a pen to everyone with their hand up.
Yeah.
Okay, right, eyes up here, guys. Lovely. And then you can ask your question. And that just like, if you apply that to every single occasion where you give instructions, yeah, let's say the kids are about to practice, okay? Okay, so you've just done your check for understanding. You say, okay, eyes up here, please. Oh, here's a really good one. Yeah, when the kids put their mini whiteboard up to show you their answer, yeah, you have a look. You say, have a look. You go, okay, I don't want anyone to rub off their answer. Put it down. Now, why does that work? It works because if you say put it down, some of them start rubbing off, others of them aren't rubbing off. You start talking, some of the kids are listening to you, some of the kids aren't listening to you. You want them to look at their work, but they don't have their work. So you say, okay, someone wrote 24. Who was it that wrote 24? And a kid was like, oh, I think it was me. Gone. Lost it. You lost the magic, right? So you make sure you say, don't rub it off, put it down. And they don't rub it off and they put it down. And then you talk through the answers and you say, okay, guys, I want you now to quietly rub it off. Lovely. Next question. Smooth, clean, clear, crisp every time. Kids are about to start practicing. You say, okay, guys, eyes up here, please. We've all finished with our mini whiteboards. Lovely. Eyes up here. Okay. I want everyone quietly to turn in their exercise book, please, to the clean page. Okay, really good. I want everyone to get their booklet. Turn to page 14, please. Lovely. Question 6. Don't need to write out the question. Quietly, by yourself, answer questions 6 to 14. And even then, I messed up. So I said question 6 first. I shouldn't have done. I should have started by saying, we're not going to write full sentences. We're not going to write the question quietly by ourselves. I want you to answer from question 6 to 14. Compare that, say, to we've now finished with the mini whiteboards. Okay, everyone, get your books and start questions 6 to 14.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some kids are squirreling, looking for their book, whatever. And then they're like, which question was it? Which question? Chaos, noise, hubbub, blah, blah, blah. Yep.
Right here, Adam. Give me that tip one more time. Tell me those.
Oh, wait, I haven't finished the golden silence bit yet.
Oh, yeah, go.
Okay, so a quiet class, is not necessarily a class that you can disturb with noise. Yeah, so the example that I like to use is the register. Yeah, so let's say your kids come in, there's work for them to do on the board in silence. Yeah, and they've just got quiet and they're starting the work. If you call the register then bad call. Yeah, because I don't 100% have a good theory to fully explain this yet, but what I think is that people get engrossed in a task, and when they first start a task, they're not engrossed in it, and any noise will like disturb them, like this or that or whatever. And if a kid like says they don't have a book or whatever, and you start having a conversation with that kid, you add to the noise, hubbub, etc. But once kids are like focused and in the task, when you then put a bit of noise in, it's okay, it works. That point isn't the point at which silence is reached. That's, a minute after. And I call that golden silence. Yeah, it's the point in time at which they are engrossed in their work, and you can interrupt it just a little bit with a little bit of noise, i.e. a register or talking to a kid or whatever, and you don't flick that noise up. Some classes, by the way, will never reach golden silence. Yeah, and you need to keep a lid on them the whole time. Yeah. And classes like that, for example, if you ever, if a kid puts their hand up to ask a question, you start having a question with them across the room, it's disaster. Yeah? You never ever do that. I mean, you should never do it anyway, but with some classes it's worse than others. Most classes will reach a point of golden silence. It's one of those where once you've had a bit of experience in the classroom, you're like, oh right, obviously. And things like, let's say a kid trips on a chair. Yeah. Right. Let's say kids are quiet and working, right? Yeah. Imagine two scenarios. Yeah. The same class. Yep. They're both quiet, they're both working. A kid is moving to the bin to put some pencil shavings or whatever and trips a bit on a chair. In both classes. In one class, everyone starts to turn around, hey, like that. Yeah. In the other class, which is the same kids, people don't even clock. That's because the second class has hit golden silence and the first class hasn't. Yeah, and that's it's like a magic moment when you know that you're in the clear. Yes. Right, and if people tell you to break it before then, they're wrong.